that, Jimbo, curious, kind of your thoughts on how your role molded from really splitting that backfield and receiver role a couple years ago to kind of being more primary receiver last year. I guess, what's your thoughts on kind of where you sit in this offense?
Honestly, shoot, I just feel like Jimbo is trying to just find a way to give me the ball, whether that's at back, receiver, quarterback, tight end, you know what I'm saying? It don't really matter. I feel like I'm there trying to eat, and I feel like he gonna feed me, so.
Ainias, what kind of went into that decision with you when you decided to come back to go pro, like Isaiah or Oleana and some of those guys?
I felt like it was more a personal decision. I felt like I needed to go ahead and hone in a little bit more on my skills and really just the details of how to do things. And I'm not saying that I didn't have any confidence, of me doing that on the next level. It's just I wanted to go ahead and not necessarily prove myself, but just show my worth and really just increase my value.
Did you meet with anybody and they tell you what kind of they thought your draft grade would be, or what they thought that where you kind of fall into the draft process for receivers?
I mean, that was brought up. A few people had talked to me or whatnot, but I ain't really try to get too much into it just because I had made the decision that I was going to come back. So I wasn't going to let those people, try to sway me one way or the other.
When you look at the role that Felix had in San Francisco this year, do you think it looks like this skill set or the way they use him is not similar to the way they use him here?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that, I guess, maybe opens an opportunity for you when you do get to the next level of how you can utilize it at the next level?
Definitely. I actually want to give a shout out and appreciation to Deebo Samuel just for, it's not very easy for anybody to do that on the next level, especially in the NFL, and for him to be able to do that so well, it just really shows that people like me out there can be valued, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely an opportunity that he's opened up for not only myself but other people under me.
Ainias, what have you seen from each of the quarterbacks this year? I mean, you've worked with Haynes in the past, but you got to see Max down in Baton Rouge, and Connor's been very highly regarded by both coaches and scouts from the training cycle. Just what have you seen from each of them? Do each of them kind of have a little bit of a different element to it?
Yes, they're all unique in, their own way. I believe that they all have special gifts that they have been given from God, and, they use them very well. I mean, right now it's kind of hard to say who's in the up front or whatnot, but it's tough because, I mean, they're all battling. They all playing real well. So I definitely applaud them for, their work. And it's going to be scary come summer. So.
Ainias, how has this spring been different than springs in the past now with the experience that you have as being one of the older guys on the team?
Well, with that, this is actually my second spring that I've actually participated in. With the 4 years that I've been here, with COVID, and then my freshman year I came in the summer. So this year I'll say it's a little bit more different just because, the energy is there. Like, there's definitely competition every day between offense and defense, but we're trying to go ahead and flip it to where it's not negative competition and we're all, gaining from it and not trying to just be beating each other up and whatnot. So, I mean, there's definitely great practices that we have, and then definitely great practices that, we want to continue to thrive off of. So practice has been well.
Do you feel like a lot of that competition with a lot of the younger guys and receivers are just pushing you to be better?
Yes, definitely. I mean, you can definitely see, those younger guys coming in hungry and, wanting something on their plate and whatnot. So those guys have definitely pushed us to, take it up another level. But then it's also come those times where, we have to put those younger guys in check and let them know that, yeah, you still a rook. And you got to understand that it's going to be some levels that you got to go through before you can really try to, want to poke your chest out like that for real.
Just going off of that, what specifically stood out to you about Evan Stewart? Seems like he's come in here and really, early freshman, really seamlessly kind of worked his way in.
No, yeah, Evan has definitely showed that he has that dog mentality. He's somebody that's eager to work, and definitely ready for any competition that comes his way. He's never the one to step down from a challenge, and he's ready to work every single day. So I like his energy.
Nice. Well, maybe the results of last season weren't exactly what you want. Come on, recruiting class, being able to beat Alabama, being able to have these kind of monumental moments throughout last season. Is there a different level of expectation that you inside internally in the locker room are holding yourself to? And for you, as one of the veterans of this roster, are you holding yourself to a different standard than some of the younger guys?
Yes. I mean, it has to be a new standard change because we're not able to keep doing the same things that we were doing in the past. So, I mean, I'm definitely holding myself to an even higher standard than I ever had before. And it's not just for football. You know, I be telling the guys in the locker room, like, this football thing is just something that you do. But, like, at the end of the day, this is what's going to shape you in a man later on down the road to where you're going to be faced with some of these same situations that you go through on the football field that you're going to have to go through in real life. So it's like, really, honestly, I try to make sure that people are all working to not only better themselves on the field, but, you know, outside of the field, and so they can be better men, eventually better husbands, and, you know, all types of things. So.
And honestly, do y'all kind of embrace that role? It seems like Texas A&M has almost become kind of a villain with the #1 recruiting class beating Alabama and so forth moving forward. Y'all have fun with that? Do you embrace that role moving forward?
Yes, we definitely have to embrace it because, I mean, that's where we're targeted as. Everybody looks at us as the bad guy, but I honestly don't have no problem being the bad guy because, I mean, I'm obviously doing something right. So I have no problem with that. I'd rather just have everybody look at me be the bad guy, so then they'll just have eventually, well, not even eventually, but eternally just go ahead and step my game up.
Why do you think they're looking at you as y'all as the bad guys?
Just because I feel like, you know, #1, we're from Texas, and, you know, it's always been a rivalry between Texas and Texas A&M, and everybody has looked at Texas as being, you know, the top dog school or whatever out of Texas. But now that we're in the SEC and we're changing the culture, I feel like people are starting to see that and want to be a part of that. Now that we have people that want to be part of that, you know, you're always going to have those that hate and don't want you to be successful. So, I mean, you're going to have both sides, but I don't really try to necessarily look at that. I just try to go ahead and put my head down and work.
There's always team goals for everyone, but then there's individual goals. Do you have any individual goals that you want to try and possess before the start of next season, and just some goals you want to hopefully reach by the end of next year?
Yes. As it comes to goals, I'm not really looking out to like stats right now. I'm really just focusing on like honing in on the details with like my route running, my speed, my strength, you know, just the things that are eventually going to benefit me later down in the future. So I really want to like get my 40 down in the off season down to like a 4.3, 4.2 for real. But other than that, I'm really focusing on my hands, you know, my speed, all types of stuff like that, just details.
I know you said that you don't know if there's a front runner with the 3 quarterbacks yet, but when you look at Connor Wegman as a freshman, is he a guy that, if he got his number called, would be ready as a true freshman to get on the field, in your opinion?
Yes, I can definitely say that that he wouldn't have a problem, you know, going back there. He may have, you know, his freshman moment or whatnot if he was thrown out there in that fire, but I mean, everybody has those, and I believe that he has enough confidence in himself to go out there and perform well. So if he was thrown out there and given that opportunity, I don't think he'll like fold under pressure or nothing. I think he'll be straight. But of course, you know, time is going to come with experience. So we'll see.
Time for a couple more.
What stood out to you about Hank's, just not only, you know, obviously the layoff from when he played at the beginning of last season, but then bowl practices kind of interrupted. Looks like he might have a chance at the end of the year. Just how he's doing not only physically, but just kind of that mental biding his time and how he sort of handled that.
First, I think that he has definitely overcome, you know, that mental aspect of trying to get through his injury that he once had. He's definitely, you know, shot past expectations of how he was supposed to be when he was supposed to come back. And shoot, first day back, he was already running like 20 miles per hour, 2021. So, you know, just his will, his heart definitely shows, you know, his character and how much he's willing to work. But then on top of that, just his leadership has grown to a whole nother level to where, you know, he's basically out there wanting to run the show. And I believe that confidence is going to take him a long way.
Here's the old saying, nice guys finish last. With everything being said about you guys with NIL, with recruiting, and by other SEC teams out there, does that make it easier for you to kind of embrace that villainous role and then be able to show what you're capable of next season?
I wouldn't say that it's necessarily easier, but it's just, you know, I guess you can say, with the recruiting class that we're getting, you know, with the focus that we're all trying to pursue, I believe that's what really drives us and helps us, you know, become as great as we want to be. Thank you.